Ladies, gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, mesdames et care, here we are once again. It is CraftCup time. It is game number 2. It is Naugrim against Insolence. It is ZVP. We have Naugrim here spawning at the green Zerg player at the 6 o'clock location. His opponent being able to perform a really nice, well-executed 5-gate pressure attack after being able to defend some mass circling pressure is Insolence, and that's why he is up a 1-0, being able to win game number 1 on Shadow Temple close position. So Insolence it is, and now it is time for us to see what will Naugrim do. Is he going for a fast expand? Is he going for even a double expand? Why is Jim Rayner leaving the game? And question number 3 is, why are we here and what is the purpose of everything? Okay, everybody thought about it a little bit, and everybody keeps everything to himself because it is time to see Naugrim and Insolence duking it out here on game number 2 on tonight's CraftCup. So, probe is now in the base, and what is the probe spotting? The probe is spotting the spawning pool. So now I can even expect Insolence to go for the forge first. And is he going for the forge or the gateway? And it will be the forge first, because it is very simple. If you spot the hatchery being built here and not the spawning pool, you just can go for the Nexus first. But because of the fact that he spotted the spawning pool, forge first it is. He is following up it with a Nexus pretty soon, and the next 150 minerals will be invested right for a cannon here. There we go, Nexus coming up. Cannon should be coming up pretty soon as well for Naugrim and for Insolence. Naugrim now following it up with a hatchery right away because he saw no need to build any Zerglings, just have 2 Zerglings to run around, because he spotted with his Overlord who's flying over here to the main base that it was a forge first, and forge first means no aggression at all in the first minutes by the Protoss player. So he can even, in my personal opinion, just go for the double expand, mine some gas to have some Zerglings out just in case, and then just go on 3 base Zergy style. Of course, if you want to expand at the natural here on Terminus, no problem at all. 8 mineral patches, 2 Vespene geysers. But if you want to go for expansion number 2, it is only 6 mineral patches and only 1 Vespene geyser, even though this Vespene geyser is not a normal Vespene geyser like this one. Let's take a look here in the bottom middle. It says Vespene geyser. Now let me click on this new one, which Vespene geyser it is, because here you mine actually 6 or 7 gas instead of just 4 gas each time a probe walks out of the simulator here mining some gas. So let's take a look. What is Naugrim actually doing? For the moment he's just building more drones. This hatchery just finished. There he's transferring some drones over there and going for a queen. And let's take a look, and this is what I really like. Naugrim having 1 queen, Naugrim having a 2nd queen on 2 base, and he's even going for a 3rd queen, and this 3rd queen is just finished here at his natural expansion, so he will have another queen just for the pure creep tumor usage. And what is a good response by a Protoss player, or a good follow-up play by a Protoss player who goes for some photon cannons? Stargate. Because with the Stargate you are able to get out of Void Ray pretty fast, and with the Void Ray you're pretty much safe against any sort of Void Ray, against any sort of circling roach pressure. And in addition to the photon cannons, just have the Void Ray hovering over here. And this might even on Terminus against the Zerg player, the Protoss player being able to just expand one more time, because it is a free expansion. The Zerg player is actually the race which has the most problems avoiding some small choke entrances, because it is not like a Terran player who can just go for the drops very, very easily and very, very fast. It is not like the Protoss player just can build a pylon, just warp in some units on the low ground, go for some warp prism action and everything like this. So a Void Ray, it is actually here for Insolence, and this is how you should do it. Go for a Void Ray first and then follow it up with Phoenixes. The Void Ray is there just in case to do some damage, scout a little bit, maybe pick up some overloads here and there, and then you have the Phoenixes in case of the Zerg play just going for the Mars Muta play, which is not the case. We see the Roach Worm, we see the Glial Reconstitution, the +1 attack coming up, everything like this. But with the Phoenixes, you not only can take care of the Mutalist, but you also can, for example, lift up a Queen here. Even though he will have to cancel this Graviton Beam because Queen number 2 and Queen number 3 are there as well. I mean, he did continue to do some damage, but unfortunately Queen number 2 and Queen number 3 did not have enough energy, so that's why the first Queen went down after all, and Insolence took some damage besides from the shield damage, but in the end it's still what you want to call worth it. Meanwhile, we see Naugrim doing a brilliant job at expanding once again, and Creep Tumor 1, 2 and 3 continuing to be built and spreading more and more creep. And this is really a good thing, having so many Phoenixes and this one Void Ray. Now you can lift up Queen number 1, you can attack this Queen, and you can lift up more Queens even. Yes, now the second Queen is being lifted up, and this Queen is taking heavy damage from this charged up Void Ray. This charged up Void Ray is just boom, taking out Queen number 2, and because of this Phoenix lifting up this Queen with enough energy for another lift off, the Queen was not able to go for some transfusions. So let's take a look at the units lost. There we see what is going on. Naugrim not only was able to expand very fast, he was also not able to just protect his Queens right away, but he did a nice transition, which is called the Hydralist Den, now going for the roofed spines, having some Hydras in production. And now those Hydras will easily pick up this Void Ray survives in the last second. And just imagine now those Hydras already with a range upgrade, this Void Ray would go down, and all those 4 kills, 1 kill is an Overlord and 3 kills are Queens. So this is what you want to call worth it after all. So this Nexus just finished for Insolence. Insolence transferring 10 probes in total over here, is able to mine some gas right away. And because of the sheer gas income, I am not able to tell you if this income here on this assimilator is 6 or 7. Or actually it is 5. I am wrong. Our friend Javimka in the chat told us it is a 5 gas instead of 6 or 7. I was once watching a stream, I'm not sure which stream it was. I'm not sure if it was GSL or something else, but someone mentioned there it was a 6 or 7 gas. That's why I just retold the story. Apparently I was wrong. Here are the Hydras attacking, taking out this first gateway, taking out, it was the Forge, taking out 2 cannons, forcing a cancel here on this building, taking out another gateway. 2 more cannons just finished here for Insolence. He's losing another sentry, but he still got 3 more sentries, and he got a Colossus in production. So let's take a look. How much damage will those Hydras be able to do before this Colossus is out? And he's continuing to walk around with the Hydras. Now here he is picking up the Hydras with the Phoenixes. The sentries doing some damage. The Queen going down, burning down in flame. And the Colossus already at 4 kills. And each kill this Colossus is having is a pure Hydralist. So this 5 kill Mentor Colossus actually was already worth it. Now this Queen has been picked up as well. And with this last minute save, last second save basically here by Insolence with this Colossus, he was able to hold this attack off for the moment. But on the other hand, Naugrim did some damage. Insolence was not paying attention there, losing 2 more Phoenixes. And what do we see in production? Now he's on 2 warp gates, and it is the Phoenix Colossus play, and this Phoenix Colossus play is what I like to do against Zerg as well, because it is pretty effective. The Void Rays, because there are air units and they just can clump up together in infinite numbers. they always can attack at the same time. It's not like Stalkers or Marines where you have to move a little bit more to the front to allow all your units to attack at the same time. For air units this doesn't really matter because all of them can attack at the same time always. So if you have those Colossi in addition to the Void Ray, you're pretty much safe against those units like the Hydralisk, because you can do quite a lot of damage very, very, very fast. And especially considering that the Colossus does have the range 9, the other gateway units, the Zealots, the Sentries, and the Void Rays will get attacked a little bit sooner. And because of the high attack speed here by the Hydralisk with a 0.83 attack speed, the Guardian Shields, which reduces the damage by another 2, is so much more effective, reducing the damage roughly 16-18% here from the Hydras. And we do not see the +2 attack coming up by Naugrim, even though, because he's just researching the +1 armor. Infestation Pit just finished for Naugrim, and this is really what you should do. Going for the Infestors to keep all those Void Rays on one place, and do not allow those Void Rays to move, and then you can be able to do quite some damage here. And he's got the Roaches in addition to the Hydras, so this typical Roach Hydra thing, the Roaches tanking the damage, the Hydras dealing the damage. He's got quite a lot of Corruptors, and Corruptors of course are a good unit to have, because the Void Rays most likely will attack the Corruptors before the Hydras, and the Corruptors will be able to attack the Colossi before the Hydras will be able to attack there. So having a lot of Corruptors, of course you need to micro those Corruptors the correct way, focus firing down single units, and use the corruption ability on as many units as possible, especially considering that this corruption ability lasts for 30 seconds, which increases the damage taken by 20%. Meanwhile, Naugrim just finished with another hatchery, where he is mainly using the hatchery to mine some additional gas. Meanwhile, Insolence still staying on his 3 bases, but just adding more and more Colossi, adding more and more Void Rays. So now it's time for us to check the Void Ray count. It is currently 9 Void Rays, 5 Colossi. Let's take a look. The +1 is finished for the Void Rays. The +1 is finished for the ground units. He is going here for this center location as well with his Nexus. I'm really glad that he's not staying only on 3 bases, that he plans to expand himself as well. Meanwhile, the Observer here of Insolence did quite some scouting, spotted all those units. Now he's taking out one creep tomb after another, and looks like he wants to go for an attack. Guardian Shield should come up any second now, and here they are taking out Queens and Overlost so fast. Of course, Void Rays are a very good unit to deal with those Corruptors. Let's take a look. Those Corruptors dying so fast, and this is looking better and better for Insolence, especially considering those nice placed force fields here. It is not very much that Naugrim's got to offer for the moment. The force fields, in addition to the Void Rays, dealing so much damage. He just lost one single Colossus, so now every other Void Ray and Colossi are still alive. The supply is just dropping more and more for Naugrim. Our French guy is slowing down the game because he's too afraid of what's happening right now, and the forces of Insolence just rampaging through the army here of Naugrim, and we should see AGG any second now. There we go. Insolence was just very, very patient, and this decision to go for this double Stargate Void Ray Colossus mix in addition to some Sentries and Stalkers was so good. The force fields placed here in the center of the map, preventing those Roaches from dealing too much damage, and then his own Void Rays taking care of the Corruptors so fast, allowing his own Colossi to take care of the Hydras and Roaches was so good. That's why Insolence was able to beat Naugrim 2-0 here in the semi-finals, and he is advancing to the grand finals, where he will play in the best of 5. And in this best of 5, he will either face, let me just take a look at it, Kaz or Savoia, because Savoia was able to win against Ciara, Kaz was able to win against Mertz, so it will be a TVP finals, I can tell you this already.